DeMarco and Tango Alpha Lima here, and please introduce yourself, brother.
Rich DeMarco. I call the games on the radio for Army football, and it is my pleasure and honor to be with you guys here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Director of Broadcasting, right?
Yep.
We're podcasters, so don't evaluate us too hard.
You have it. You're the professional.
We're broadcasters. They poke us and tell us to talk.
I think that's where it's going. That's where the
So
field's
tell
going.
us a little bit. 20 years with right in the play-by-play. What's been some of the more memorable plays or games that come up for you?
When I think of Army Navy, the game that'll always stick with me is 2016. Navy had won 14 straight games over Army. The game was just up the road in Baltimore, and Army finally broke the streak. And you know, it's interesting. We found out, sometime later actually that Navy, when they made their uniforms for that game, so the uniforms are special. Right? So Navy made their uniforms, and they put 14 stars. And then they're on their jersey and their pants, but they had like a star that wasn't filled in their neck. And then they had 14 stars on their helmet and a 15th that wasn't filled in on the back. And the goal was, after they beat Army for the 15th time, they were going to fill in that star. Ooh. They didn't get a chance to fill in that star, right? Yeah. So Army beat them. That's going to be, and I'll tell you what, in the 14-year streak, that's something I don't think will ever happen again in the series. So
God, I hope
that's a moment that'll never be topped. So for me, that's the moment that's always going to stick.
Well, tell us about this Black Knights team. How are they looking this year? I mean, 11-1. They only fell to Notre Dame.
Which is a good. There's no shame in that.
No.
So tell us a little bit about the team this year.
11-1, right? And first year in the American Athletic Conference, ran the table, undefeated. They beat the team that many said was the most talented team in the American, which was Tulane. Blew them out in the AAC title game. But Jeff Monken, the Army head coach, has made it really clear this week, and he said it so well, that 11-1, it's a good season, and it's going to be remembered as a good season. But the only way this could be remembered as a great season is if Army beats Navy, and that's true. And that, hey, if Army doesn't beat Navy, it was a good year, right? In order to say it's a great year, Army's got to win this game.
That's incredible. Honestly, you being here and the energy, and you can just feel it. Everybody that we talk to is super excited. This is both our first year here. And so I'm deeply afraid that it's going to be a whole thing that I'm going to have to plan my life around every year at this point.
It makes it easier that it's a standalone Saturday, right? The week after the conference title games. And I'll tell you, the game, and you say being here every year, and I think the partners that this game has had have elevated it so much. And I look at like the American Legion coming on board this year, and the pathways and the eyeballs and the people that their partnership is going to be able to open this game to, right? Because there's only 60,000 some odd people that are going to get into the stadium. And I think this has become, especially over the last 10, 12 years, where it's been able to reach out and touch a lot of people who aren't in the stadium, like a Super Bowl would, like a college football national championship game would. And that, to me, is one of the most special things about how this game has grown over the last several years.
Well, tell us a little bit. It's not only football that you broadcast.
Basketball has a game tonight.
Yeah.
They're
Really?
just over the bridge. Yeah. They're taking on GW at the Smith Center. That'll be a lot of fun. And Army Hoops, it's that second-year coach. That's some good talent. So it'll be a good year. And I like what the Army coach has done, Kevin Kuick, and this is his second year, is he's making a commitment to wherever the Army-Navy game is, playing a game on the Friday night near that game. So last year, Army-Navy was in Foxborough, and the Army basketball team played Harvard tonight. So, next year in Baltimore, who knows, maybe, UMBC, Maryland, someone like that just up the road. So it's kind of cool that he's bringing the flavor of the game to his team.
Yeah.
Now, you're also involved in some of the marketing that goes into that.
Yeah.
What is it like this time of year for Army Navy?
A lot of stuff I do is with licensing, so I work with a lot of our retail partners and collegiate licensing company, and it's just amazing to see the creativity of a lot of vendors and retailers, how they want to present this game to our fans. And there's so many pieces of apparel, whether it be from Nike putting out the rivalry uniforms to companies that just want to do things celebrating the game. And like I said, they're only making it because people are buying it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
That's
and that
right.
speaks to how popular the game is still becoming, right? There's still a ceiling on the exposure that this game can bring.
And I think also though when you've got two teams like this, and I mentioned this earlier today, these guys are professionals, and so they go out there, they're out there earlier than any other football team, getting ready because that's just the military way. They're out in the cold and they're up and moving. While a lot of college students are still trying to drag
professionally
themselves.
disciplined. They're not professionals. They're collegiate.
Well, I would say, like, as they say at a lot of other schools, right? Practice is the hardest part of the day. Probably at the academies, practice might be the easiest part of the day when you think about what they got to go through. So it's.
Well, what I love about the game and what's coming through, whether it's through marketing partners or it's down there in the trenches on the field, is at the core it's about service.
Yeah.
It's about the service that's going to happen after, right? The way that and the mantle of leadership that they're going to step into. But it's also about, just like it's a legion, it's service to the community after outreach. And you've done a lot of service and outreach. You want to tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've had your hand in?
Yeah, we've been able to connect our cadets with the community, and I don't think there's any better. There's no better asset you have at West Point than our cadets, right? So their ability to do, autograph signs, be out there at a school, when they're on the road, just being able to, coming off the bus, meeting some kids and everything. I have twin sons, and I can't tell you how much they've been impacted being around these athletes over the last several years. I wouldn't want them around any other kind of athletes. It's just amazing because these are the best of the best, right? They're coming. Army's 11-1. These guys didn't come to Army to have a long football. They came to Army to use the opportunity to play football, to end up with an amazing life, and to serve their country, right? That's what it comes down to. They traded into their athletic ability to play for 4 years, but knowing they're going to come out whether they're for their entire career in the military or if they're not, if they leave the military after 5 years, 10 years, still keeping service in their life.
Yeah.
That's why they came here. So
when I was in the service or deployed, watching the game, whatever, I'd watch any other college football game. I never said that's one of us right there. But when you watch the Army Navy game, it's more meaningful, and you say that's us right there. That's the future generation. Let's support them.
Absolutely. So we're all shareholders.
Yeah, that's right.
And the blood, sweat, and tears, they put into it. And in order for this to really work, you have to have proper leadership. You've got to have proper teaching, and you've got to have mentors and people. And so I want to thank you for the time that you spent here with us. I want to thank you for being who you are and continuing to serve and take care of our veterans and our active duty guys and our guys. Honestly, it means the world, everything that you do, and finding what a cool way to be able to continue to serve. You know what I'm saying? Honestly,
I appreciate you guys, and I'll tell you, this game brings so many people together and brings so many folks, and just having it here, Military Women's Memorial, it's just another pathway and another story we can tell about the great armed services.
And no hard feelings tomorrow.
No. Well, as we joke about the score and get predictions, we'd love for you to sign our football sheet.
Yeah, go ahead and call it. What do you think? What's your
How many touchdowns is Army going to win by? That's the real
I think
question.
Army by a field 17-14.
By a field goal? You think it'll be that close?
I do think it's going to be
Okay.
close. You're the second by field goal that we've heard. But the other
Because I was going to say a 10 touchdown win for Army. Well, you're the play-by-play, so I'm gonna trust.
Thank you so much, guys.
He's not even smart enough to know how many points that is. Yeah. He's like 10 touchdowns.
Well, 3 3-pointers leads to
yeah, that's right.
a run. No,
this isn't a helicopter. What do I do?
Hey,
thanks, Rich. Appreciate you
so much.
Thank you.
Great job.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.